Hey everyone, Reverend Autumn the Untamed Priestess here. Welcome back to the channel. It has been quite a bit of time since I've made a video, sorry about that. As you might have been able to see from the title of this video, this is an EFT tapping session for white guilt. So there's a lot to go over. This video is not going to be too much explaining on the concept of white guilt or about systematic oppression or racism. That's not really where my training lies, so I'm not going to speak about things that I'm not 100% certain of. I did want to talk a little bit about tapping, why I'm choosing this modality for this concept, and then briefly white guilt. If you have never heard of the term, if you're unfamiliar with things like that, white guilt, white fragility, white tears, all of these kinds of concepts is the concept of white people feeling guilty over the systematic oppression. It's natural to feel guilty when you realize that other people have been harmed and you have done nothing to stop it. It's natural to feel guilty when you realize that you have not done enough. And even if you have been anti-racist and combating racism all along, it still can feel shitty when you realize that it's still not enough and it might never be enough. It can feel really shitty. This video can help overcome the feelings of guilt so we have enough mental and emotional bandwidth to commit to being anti-racist on an ongoing level. This isn't something that is a one and done type thing. There is no end goal. There's no, finish line, like now I'm anti-racist, now I'm completely not a racist. That's not the way this works. Unfortunately, it really fucking sucks, but that is the cold hard truth of it. This is an ongoing learning process, an ongoing thing that is going to take lifetimes because it has been in the making for lifetimes, right? This is a video with an EFT tapping session to help white people, maybe potentially white presenting people, combat the feelings of white guilt within them. However, I would like to be explicitly clear that this is not to acquit you of your moral obligation to continue the anti-racism work. This is not a video that you can watch once, do the tapping session, feel good about yourself, and tune out everything that's going on. This is not about you. This is about everyone else that white people have been shitting on for centuries. So what I'd like to say to those people who are combating feelings of white guilt, heal yourself, take time, take a couple minutes, do this tapping session, heal yourself, and then get back to work. This is a video just to give you the boost that you might need if you're feeling very, very low and if you feel like you're on the edge of burnout. I'm making this just so we can keep going because there's a lot of work to be done. And you're not going to help anyone if you burn yourself out and if you feel that I can't go on, this is too much. Yes, it is too much. It's been too much for Black, Indigenous, and people of color for centuries. Get over it. So go ahead, tap along with me. I'll go ahead and post the script down below so this way you can do it on your own time without having to go ahead and tap along with me. EFT Tapping 101. First of all, how does it quickly work? Tapping, you tap on the body's meridian lines. It helps calm the nervous system and it helps combat your fight or flight. So when you think of negative things, when you are up against a trigger, when you're up against an anxiety kind of blockage, usually fight or flight could kick in, and that's when the body gets overworked. You get nervous, you get sweaty, heart starts racing, hyperventilating, all of that fun stuff. And tapping calms the limbic system, calms your nervous system. So the way that it works is that we actually focus on the negative, unlike a lot of other holistic healing modalities where you focus on the positive affirmations. The opposite is true. So what we are trying to do is actually to, in a way, sort of trigger ourselves to bring up those feelings, run through a tapping session, and then those feelings with time will subside. So first, you're going to identify the problem. I've kind of already done that here for us. Our problem is white guilt, right? It is the feelings of guilt, of shame, of horror even, that we have let systematic racism affect all of the people who do not look like us for so long. So that is our problem that we are working towards today. Next, you're going to rate your levels. So usually you check in with yourself. Some people like to press right here. It's right under the collarbone, that little squishy spot. So you just kind of press here, hang out, and think, okay, on a scale of 1, this isn't bothering me, to 10, like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out about it. Where is this problem lying? I've been working on this. I don't really feel white guilt anymore. I have come to terms with that. So right now I'm at about a 3. Right? I know it's a thing. I've removed myself from the situation. Doesn't matter. I do not matter in this situation. My feelings don't mean shit. So I'm at 3. This number could be different from you. It's just a way to emotionally check in with yourself. So now we're going to go ahead and set up our setup statement. This is the statement that you come back to. This is the statement that helps you integrate these feelings into yourself. A lot of people go ahead and will tap right here. It's called the karate chop point, the side of your hand by your pinky. And so some people do 1 finger, 2, 3, whatever works for you. You don't want to hurt yourself, just lightly tap on this point. And you're going to go ahead and say, even though I feel horrible guilt, I choose to accept and honor my feelings. Again, even though I feel horrible guilt, I choose to accept and honor my feelings. Last time. Even though I feel horrible guilt, I choose to accept and honor my feelings. Okay, so that is our setup statement. If you would like to choose your own setup statement, feel free. This is what the rest of the tapping talking points are going to be focusing around. Okay, so the rest of the tapping points, I will quickly point them out to you, and then we will go ahead and get into the session. So first, you're going to start at the top of your head. Then move to the eyebrow, the beginning of the eyebrow, right where that curve, right where your eyebrow starts. You could do this on both sides. You could do it on one side or the other, doesn't matter. I usually just go with the right side because I'm right-handed. And then you're gonna go to the side of the eye, right where that curve, it's like that little bone indentation on the side of your eye right there. And then underneath your eye, right where that curve is. Underneath your nose. Underneath your chin in the curve underneath your bottom lip, and then your collarbones, which is again your collarbone, and then about an inch down there's like a little squishy spot right there. And I usually do 2 hands for this one just because it's easier than me. Anyways, some people do an underarm point, which is like under your armpit. I don't really like that spot. It's just like awkward. So I skip it, and my tapping sessions have always been fine. So it's up to you if you want. It's about like an inch or 2 underneath your armpit. A lot of people say it's like where a bra line falls, but again, I just skip it. It's awkward. So now we're going to go ahead and start the tapping session. You can go ahead and redo your setup statement if you want. Even though I feel horribly guilty, I choose to honor and accept my feelings. Top of the head. I feel so guilty. You're going to tap anywhere from like 5 to 10 times. Depends. Eyebrow. I should have been more aware. Side of your eye. I should have taken action sooner. Under eye. I should have known sooner. Under your nose. This guilt weighs me down. Under the chin. This guilt distracts from the work. Collarbones. This guilt allows me to stay silent. I'm going to go ahead and repeat through that with those talking points about 3 more times if you want to. If not, and you want to go on to the ending cycle, then that's fine too. Your final cycle is going to sound a little something like this. Top of the head. I wonder if there's a lesson. Eyebrow point. If I accept this guilt. Side of the eye. The guilt will melt away. Under eye. I don't have to loathe myself. Under nose. I just need to learn to do better. Under chin. To speak up and speak out. And collarbone. This isn't about me. I choose to forgive myself. So after you finish your tapping session, go ahead and check in again with yourself. My anxiety and guilt over the situation has gone from a 3, probably down to about a 2. If you start and your check-in levels are an 8 or higher when you first start this, and if after the session it hasn't changed too much, take a second, go away, do something else, come back to it. This isn't a one and done. This is a practice that you can utilize throughout. You can feel free to change your setup statement, change the tapping statements. All this can be totally customizable. I put this one together so that people who were struggling would have a resource to go to, a resource from a white person, instead of bothering our BIPOC folks for resources when there are plenty of Black educators who have been throwing resources at us left and right, often for free. So I decided to make this for fellow white people because this is our shit that we have to work through. This is ours to own. This is ours to work through. It's not their responsibility. This is up to us. So yeah, if you have any constructive comments or sincere questions, I am more than willing to hear them and to have an open dialogue with mature people. I'm not here for hate nonsense. I don't have time for that. But yeah, I hope that this was helpful for you. So with all that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day and I will talk to you later. Bye.